Yo, what's up guys, Insane Game Freak here, welcoming you to another Durarara Season 2, Part 3, Episode 4, I believe. If I'm wrong, then 5. Fuck it, we're doing it live! Sorry. So yeah, this episode was probably the more action-packed episode. I'm gonna say right now, Shizuo's characterization has been on point. He's not even in this episode for that long. His characterization's on point. Like, that's not even an argument. That is a fact of nature, and you will not deny it. Let's start from the beginning. So Chikage versus Masaomi. Masaomi put in some motherfucking work. Let's be honest, when we heard they were about to fight, and knowing Chikage was able to handle Shizuo pretty well, it's like, well, that usually would equate to, well, that Chikage is gonna whoop that ass. We also understand why Chikage is doing what he's doing anyway. He's just going to use the yellow scarves in some form or fashion to lure out the dollars. And it's like, well, you could just do that, but because Chikage is acting on his own, he's not acting within his group, he's acting as his own. He's like, look, if you win, I'll be your bodyguard. I'm like, but the whole point is you want to get at the guy who did the hit on Kodaka. Well then, why do we need to fight? Well, it's because Chikage is Chikage, and fucking everybody loves Chikage. So they had the fight. Masaomi was putting in some work. That was pretty even. Although my questioning is Chikage human? Because the man jumped off of like a 3-story building and created a shockwave in the ground and was not harmed. And even afterwards, it's like, I'm climbing back up there to whoop that ass, and you're just kind of like, what? Like, you look up in the distance, you're just like, what? And then just to kind of cover the whole fight, the fight itself was pretty good, well animated. Masaomi got some work in there. And then we had Izumi show up, and obviously Izumi and Masaomi have some history due to, well, the yellow scarves are the ones who beat on that blue square ass, so the saltiness is real. And I don't think he gonna walk out of that being like, everything's fine. No, Izumi gonna put in that work. Also, what's up with Izumi? Because he was throwing in punches at Chikage, and that was pretty even. He hit Izumi once in the forehead and broke his hand. What? What is this? Is it like, is Durarara human power level has been jacked up to meet with everyone else's abnormal standards? The Shizuo stuff was pretty cool because it was good characterization on him. He's not flipping out. He was actually just sitting in the jail cell. Like, they're trying to get him to flip out, to use him as an excuse to go steal Celty's head. That's kind of the goal here. I don't understand why one of Saika's kids would admit to being one of Saika's kids, because Shizuo had no way to prove it if he hadn't have admitted it. But it's obviously him being overly suspicious. Like, hey, why would you tell me all this information? You're one of Saika's kids, aren't you? And he was like, and Shizuo was really calmed down. Like, I love how he's kind of grown to mellow out. Like, he can still break shit, like, as it's shown. He's breaking the bars and whatnot. But it was like, oh, he's like, Shizuo, you released. And he's like, okay. And then it's like, the woman dropped charges on you. I don't know what woman that is, but I'm assuming something tells me it probably is Kururi. That probably was Kururi. Like, Izaya set him up, but Kururi's the person that's trying to keep him in prison. It's just that Izaya and Kururi's motives seem to link up pretty well. Because Kururi had this thing about having Shizuo be out anyway. But it seems like the whole premise with this is that once Kururi figured out that, oh, he's not going to flip out on us, and that's what we need, Kururi's like, well, fuck it, let him go. Now, granted, I have nothing to prove that, but that's my assumption. Because right after he's like, I'm not about to flip out because you guys want me to flip out, then the guard comes up and is like, well, I guess I'm going to let him out then, since he said he ain't going to flip out. And then we, of course, see, and we saw a glimpse of this at the end of part 2 of season 2, where Izaya has officially gotten to Verona. Verona's feeling some type of way, and that's what the scene with her and Shizuo is near the end of the episode, where she, from what I understand, she like creates some type of, she kind of attacks the police station to steal a police bike, and Shizuo's like, Verona, what are you doing? And of course the first thing he's thinking is like, Izaya, you son of a bitch, what did you do to Verona? Everybody, I wonder how many people still ship Verona and Shizuo. because I'm pretty sure it's a decent number of people at this point. Everyone, I know somewhere out there there's fan art of Shizuo, Akane, and Verona as like this little happy family, and the shit's probably adorable. I don't know. If anyone can find a picture of that and link it to me on my Facebook page in the description, that'd be awesome. I want to see that. And now we get to the most interesting part of this episode, mixed with, and it's all revolving around Saika. Saika, for some reason, has become way bigger of an issue so far in the last few episodes than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was mainly going to be Mikado versus Masaomi, and that doesn't seem to be what's happening. So we have the cafe conversation of Kudra, Haruna, and Henri, where she kind of goes to explain how the whole Saika children situation works. Where from what I understand, Kudra has like the original main blade, and then she's broken it off to create children blades. But she hasn't broken it off numerous times because, as she said, she doesn't want to make multiple children because I think it either makes the power either less effective or more uncontrollable. I forget which. But the point is she doesn't want to make more blades from her main blade even though she could. And so she would rather buy Henri's, especially learning about Henri and understanding that Henri, for all intents and purposes, is trying to create a symbiotic relationship with Saika, which doesn't work. Kudra explains that you need to do either one or two things. You need to enslave Saika, or you need to have Saika take you over completely. Trying to do one or the other, which is trying to do like a combination of both, doesn't work. Kudra also seems to be way too helpful to Henri in this entire conversation, because it's like the way Henri views things is that she can't be near people with Saika because she's a parasite and she's doing nothing but harming those people. Well, Kudra is like, well, if those people still want to be around you, then that means it can't be a parasitic relationship because they got to be getting something from you to still want to be around you. Meaning it's a symbiotic relationship, which is a good point. It's like she keeps acting like, oh, being around Masaomi and Mikado is all it's going to do is hurt them. But realistically, they wouldn't hang around her if all of it was doing was causing them pain. They want to be around her. They like being around her, and that's the whole fucking point. Also, according to the preview, Henri's going to meet Masaomi's girlfriend, Mika, so that should be interesting. If anyone wants any backstory on Mika, I'll put it in the next episode review if you're curious about it. But yeah, it turns into this whole situation. Haruna asks for a mother blade, and she's like, I'm not giving you a fucking mother blade. There's nothing, like, pretty much Haruna means jack shit all to her. Like Kudri does not have any fucks to give. But the one thing about Kudri that has struck me as weird is that in this episode she admits to herself being a villain. She understands what kind of person she is and what she's perceived as, and has already come to the realization at some point in time she's probably going to get struck down by someone for whatever reason, whether it's justice or vengeance. But she views herself as a villain. But here's the thing, she views herself as a villain, but really outside of the stuff she's done in the past, nothing currently she's done, well, I guess I shouldn't say that, other than the Seiji Naminé shit, which no one really, I don't personally care about because fuck Seiji and Naminé. Naminé's kind of like whatever to me. Seiji's fucking obsessed. I'm like, Seiji, you got this girl here and you're still obsessing over a fucking Celty head. Walk the fuck away, you freak! Damn it. Oh, that was also funny. Well, I'll get to that. The whole, we found out, so well, what did Seiji and Naminé do after they saw it? We saw that Celty woke up from the dream she was having, or a nightmare, of the identity crisis thing. And then Shira's like, oh yeah, we knocked Seiji out. And then Naminé got mad at us knocking Seiji out, so we knocked Naminé out, and we knocked them out together and put them together. So at least when Naminé wakes up, she'll be by her incestuous brother that she wants to have. It's like she wants to be with her brother. But like, it's like she obviously wants to commit incest, but she's like, it's so fucking weird. It's such a fucking weird ass relationship. I can't stand that shit. It's that whole taking the whole. It's actually she's kind of like that girl from Fire Emblem Fates. I forget her name. The one that everyone loves to say isn't a Fire Emblem character and is so overly sexualized. I forget her name. Camilla, I think. She's like that. But getting back to the point, getting back to the Kudri conversation. I'm curious where the fan base puts Kudri, because Kudri, as of right now, as of current events, hasn't really done anything I would consider horrible. I mean, she kind of threw her niece under the bus in the past, and she did some dickish things to Namine and Seiji, but she hasn't done anything what I would view as almost unforgivable, especially considering the Henri conversation where she's been pretty calm and cool and collected, even kind of serving as somewhat of a teacher, even though it's kind of implied that like Kujiri's like a fucking monster. Even though I don't think Kujiri's aware of Haruna and that scene where fucking Haruna and Henri perceive her and they're like, oh my god, what the fuck is she? And like Haruna and Kujiri's like, I don't know what the problem is. Like she was fucking like, is there a problem? And Haruna looks over at Henri like, did you see that shit? And Henri's like, oh no. Shit was fucking ridiculous. She was just like, that girl ain't human. But it was weird because she was kind of giving her some pointers. It's like, look, either you need to enslave her or not. And even then, she still didn't, even when she denied, even when she said, I still need Saika, I need to repay. I was also interested to hear her answer that she feels that she owes Saika, and technically she's right. I mean, if Saika wasn't there, even though she ended up killing her father, she also didn't die. So she does owe Saika technically for that. So she feels like she owes... Like, it's kind of obvious. I think Henri's just going to try to keep a symbiotic relationship with Saika. Just like she's kind of going to end up doing with Mikado and them. She wants to be in the middle. She wants to still be there, but not be there. It's kind of like everything with Henri is almost the same thing. Like with her friends. She still cares about her friends, but doesn't want to get too close. So she wants to hang in the middle. Same thing with Saika. It's like you don't want to give in to Saika, but you don't want to get rid of her because of what she did do for you. And it's like... I get it, and it's an interesting dynamic with Henri. Like her whole character at this point is that she's stuck in the middle in both of her situations. Although she doesn't have to be in the middle in terms of her human relationships versus Saika, where I don't know how well that's gonna go overall. And so we have that conversation, and then she's like, "Well, call me if you change your mind." So we move from that to like the final two sections of the episode. Tekashi's back! Woo! I'm glad I explained it in the previous episode. I did not know this was going to happen. Well, I kind of didn't know. It also gives a revealing fact about Saika. Apparently, the person who... at least from what I understood from Tekashi's explanation, because he pretty much takes control over Haruna's father, which makes me wonder, has he always been over Haruna's father in terms of control? Or was that something recent that happened? I'm not totally sure. But he taking control of Haruna's father, drugged him, and... not drugged him, but, cut him, slashed him, and then knocked out Haruna and kidnapped her. Where pretty much, from what I understand, which is funny because Haruna was looking for him anyway, the person who was slashed, like in the list of children who were slashed by one mother Saika, for I guess in this case it'd be Henri, whoever was slashed last out of her kids holds more power than the people who were slashed previously. Meaning because Haruna was like one of the first people to be slashed by Henri officially, Tekashi holds more power over Haruna once you break out of Saika's control, which apparently Tekashi was able to do also. So Tekashi holds power over Haruna. They're going to have a very interesting relationship because Haruna was already looking for Tekashi anyway. So it's like, you're in love with Tekashi, and Tekashi being slashed by Saika is also in love with you. So I don't really understand what's about to happen. Yes, you really didn't need to drug her. You really didn't. I mean, it seems kind of pointless, but then again, from Tekashi's perspective, the bitch did try to kill him. So I can understand his apprehension towards the bitch. And then also fucking up the father. I don't know how that situation's gonna play out. I have no fucking idea personally. Also, the Erika Kujiri scene was pretty funny. I don't know where to place Kujiri right now. She's too comically oriented for me to be like, oh, she's evil. But at the same time, she's not necessarily good either, especially because she doesn't view herself as good. And I'm also curious why Kujiri doesn't just walk away from this shit. She doesn't have to be a part of it. She's just kind of, I need to know more about why she wants to do this shit. Obviously, she's doing it for her employer. But why not just try to get a normal fucking job? I don't get it. Like, why do all this shit? And why put your niece in such a bad situation? I'm curious to just see how that all flows together. Side note, Kotaka's waking up, and then the final part of the episode, Kururi knows where Celty lives. I don't know how to feel about this because the shit with Ruri and last season shit makes me not trust her. At the same time, her conversation with Anru was pretty chill. That could also be because they're both Saikas, I'm not fucking sure. My question really boils down to, what do you want to talk to Celty about? It's like, it's also already been known that she wants to get Celty's head, and she's been trying, that's the reason why she was trying to manipulate Shizuo to create a situation where she could get Celty's head. So I'm like, I don't get it. Are you trying to help Celty? I think you still want to examine Celty. I don't get it. Also, we need more Ruri clarification, because Ruri, right, as of right now, is in the opening, doesn't have any signs of showing up, but I know she's just as important as everybody else. So are we going to see some Ruri-Yuhei interactions? Because that kind of got brought up in Season 2, Part 1, and then was like a little bit of it in Season 2, Part 2, and hasn't even really been fucking mentioned or referenced here. So I'm curious to see where all this shit's going to go. But good episode. Good shit. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game. Play to win. And I will catch you guys later. Peace off.